to another Junior Statistics video. This is our second video on interpreting statistical graphs. So let's get straight into example number 4. This is a dot plot and the results are about Mr. Brown's statistics class test results compared to Mr. Baxter's statistics test results. So what kind of things can we chat about in this graph? Well, the first thing you might decide to chat about is the highest and lowest scores. So here we go. The highest score was a student in Mr. Brown's class, which was 10. The lowest score was also Mr. Brown's class, which was 0. You might go on and work out the range for each class. Range is equal to highest minus the lowest, and the range for Mr. Brown's class ends up being 10, and the range for Mr. Baxter's class ends up being 7. Now please show me your working as you do this. And then you could make a comment like this. The test marks for Mr. Brown's class are more spread out and more variable. That's because the range is greater. Right, here's a statement you might have seen or you might choose to make. Mr. Brown had a lot of students who scored 2, 3 and 4. Mr. Baxter had a lot of students who scored 5, 6 and 7. He also had a few students score 2 and 3. Now I'm going to suggest that possibly means Mr. Baxter's class did better in the statistics test than Mr. Brown's class. Most of his students scored in the 5, 6 and 7s, and Mr. Brown's class were in the 2s, 3s and 4s. I'm going to work out the median for each class. Remember, the median is the middle number, so I'd have to write all those numbers out in order and then find the middle number for each class. And I'm going to make this final statement. The median for Mr. Brown's class was 3, and the median for Mr. Baxter's class was 5. This also backs up the claim we've just made that Mr. Baxter's class did better in the test. Right, let's push on to example 5. This is a time series graph, and we are comparing the food index, the price of food, over the time between March of 1992 to September 1995. So what kind of things could we comment about a time series graph? Well, we talked about this in the actual time series video. The first thing to talk about is the trend. So the trend between March 1992 and September 1995 is going up or increasing. We say increasing. This shows that food prices have increased between these time periods. The other thing you may notice is this. The food index looks to have little peaks in every December. This means that food prices are a little more expensive in December, which is Christmas time, so supermarkets may increase their prices in December. Okay, well let's finish off with a box plot or box and whisker graph. So here's our last example. This is the rainfall measured in millimetres for the North Island and South Island of New Zealand. We have the South Island at the top in red and the North Island below in blue. So what kind of things could we comment about this box plot? The first thing you're probably going to chat about is the median. So I've drawn this line down to the axis and I've worked out, approximately guessing, the median rainfall for the North Island is about 1,200 millimetres compared to the median rainfall for the South Island, which is about 850 millimetres. There is more rain in the North Island on average each year than the South Island. Right, next thing I'm going to do is work out the highest minus the lowest, the range for each of the North Island and the South Island. Please show me your working. So I'm going to write a comment like this. The range for the South Island is approximately 2,550 millimetres. I've guessed 2,900 minus 350. The range for the North Island is approximately 700 millimetres. The rainfall for the South Island is more spread out and more variable. Right, what about the middle 50%? It looks very similar, so I'm going to say the middle 50% for the South Island looks to be a similar size to the middle 50% for the North Island. Now, because of that, this out here, possibly this whisker is an outlier. Because the range is so different, that's possibly why it is an outlier out there. Alright, well thanks very much for watching these videos.